Hello, my name is Rachel. If you are new here, welcome. And if you're not new here, thank you so much for coming back. I love eyeshadows. They are my favorite part of makeup, especially indie eyeshadows. And every month or so, I do a palette ranking of the newest palettes to my collection. Or let's say, once I test a batch of palettes and I've used them enough to get my full and final thoughts on them, I give you a little bit of a kind of speed reviews in a ranking style. So I have 8 palettes to rank today. And I will start off by saying they're all really, really good. Like none of these are bad palettes at all. It's just kind of which ones I like more than others. And it's really just ranked based on my own preferences. And of course, as I go through these palettes, I let you know why I like or dislike something about them. And that may help you decide if it's right for you or if you're just here for fun for the ranking. Thank you so much for being here. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy rankings, especially palette rankings, and consider subscribing because I do them quite often. When I put palettes in these rankings, I really try to use them more than once or twice because I really want to get my full and final thoughts on them. So some of these are not like the newest to my collection, but they are the ones now that I've had enough time to use to get my final thoughts on. I'm going to pop in a clip of my big cat. I have a kitten and I have a big cat, and he just likes to get up on the desk and just splay out. Like right when I'm starting to film, he says, "No, this is my channel. Let me have some space." He's such a cutie, but he's a big boy. So anyway, starting off at number 8, I have the Gourmand Girls in collaboration with Steph's Beauty Stash, the Nueva Vida palette. So I did receive this one in PR, and I really love Gourmand Girls formula. I think the formula is very, very good. They have a really good, solid, I would say buildable matte formula. I think this is perfect for someone that is A, new to makeup, or B, just prefers a formula where you can sheer out the colors or build them up. It's not like ultra pigmented off the bat. It's really easy to control, which I love with a colorful palette. That is my favorite thing because sometimes colorful palettes can be intimidating. And I think this is perfect for Steph. It's very much her vibe. Obviously, she created this palette. It's very colorful. And the only reason this is coming in at the end of my particular ranking is just it's more bright and colorful than I normally would reach for. That's the only reason. There is no other reason. There's nothing wrong with the formula. I think the shimmers in this are so pretty. I really like the Gourmand Girl shimmer formula. It's very impactful. A couple of these are even duochromes. And this is a really fun companion palette for me. I have been reaching for this mostly as a companion palette where I want to dip in and grab a couple of bright shades. This is the palette that I'm going to go for. And it's a little bit more slim and compact, very easy to travel with. And I will tell you my favorite shade, which is kind of strange in this palette, is the shade the Convertible. It is the most beautiful, for me, inner corner highlight. It is like a kind of a satiny metallic. It's not chunky, it's very smooth. And whenever I want like a very bright inner corner that's not like sparkly but still has shine, I have been reaching into this palette in particular for the shade the Convertible. So I think they did a great job. I really, really like this palette. Even though it's coming in at number 8, I enjoy this palette a lot. It's just, for me, I like the other color stories just a little bit more. But congratulations to Steph and Gourmand Girls for creating a really, really fun like summer palette. Coming in at number 7, I have the Blend Bunny and Ellis palette. Another very colorful palette, but this one is much, much, much larger. Much larger. So we have a very big, it is a rainbow palette. And in my opinion, it's more of like an extended version of the Blend Bunny Blends palette, which is my favorite Blend Bunny palette. But of course, we have a column down the middle of shimmers, and these shimmers are very pretty. A lot of them are iridescent shimmers, which is different for the brand. We have also this shade called the Engineer, which is like an ultra chromy silver, so beautiful. Ethereal is a little bit more of a like white based silver, both stunning, so shiny, so beautiful. I think for me, the reason this is coming in at number 7 is it is just so big. It's a little cumbersome for me personally, but I can absolutely see this being great for a performer, which I am a performer. I teach ballroom dancing. I dance professionally. So like I can definitely see using this to create looks for that. Or if you're a makeup artist who does work on performers, I think this would be an amazing palette to have in your kit. Like you really wouldn't even need much else. if you're going to use these tones on your clients, it's got every depth, every undertone that you may need for colorful shadows. And I do love that on the bottom we have an entire row of neutral shades. So you can create neutral looks as well. The Blend Bunny matte formula is in my top 2, top 3 matte formulas of all time. Phenomenal, blendable, pigmented, but not overly pigmented, not super full of fallout, easy to work with, easy to mix together. Layering them is no problem. I mean, it's an incredible matte formula. So I love having even more colors that I can play with in this incredible formula. And I do really like these new shimmers. They're very, very pretty. But for me, it's just a very large rainbow palette. And although I do appreciate it and I'm very happy for both the Blend Bunny and the Collaborator, there are just other palettes I enjoy more this past month. Coming in at number 6, I have a quad from the brand Surratt, and this is the Beyond Beige quad. So I went to Creators and Friends in New Orleans at the beginning of April, and one of the brunches was sponsored by the brand Surratt. And I had heard of the brand, but I had never used anything from the brand before because they're a luxury brand, let's be honest. I was gonna say they're very high-end, they're luxury. So even just looking at this palette, like it comes in a like faux suede slip, and then we have this beautiful kind of almost like a multi-chrome type of look to the quad. And then on the inside, we have this very neutral color story. I mean, it is called Beyond Beige, so can't say that I'm surprised that it's beige, but I love me a beige palette. For me, this is right up my alley in terms of color story. I would absolutely bring this to travel with. And I've personally never tried luxury eyeshadows before, never tried them from any brand, like I've never tried Chanel or Tom Ford or any of those things, but I have watched Morgan Turner and she does review a lot of luxury eyeshadows. And I remember like listening to her talk about the formulas of those brands and saying that they're different. Like luxury shadows are different. They're softer, but they're not, how do I put this? Sometimes when I review shadows and I'm like, oh, they don't have a lot of pigment, oh, they're kind of dusty, they're not impactful. That's not really how I would describe this, even though it is softer than like Gorbon Girls or Blend Bunny. The mattes are like very buttery, but a wash of color without being like low quality. They feel very high quality, very buttery, but they don't give a ton of pigment. And the shimmers in this are definitely more satin. They're not very metallic at all whatsoever. They give a little bit of shine to the eyes, just like a sweep of a shine. But again, they feel very soft. They don't feel chalky. They feel moisturizing. And I can absolutely see somebody that likes that type of formula, or I feel like this would be perfect for someone with mature eyes because it's not going to accentuate texture on your eyelids. It's not going to be overly metallic. It just gives a very sophisticated look to the eyes. The formula feels very luxurious. I will tell you that. Like, it feels really nice. Like, I feel rich when I'm wearing this. But I will say, the reason it's coming in lower is the price. It's over $100. Okay, now I got this in PR. Remember, I said that. Would I spend $108 or whatever the cost is? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So I can't really broadly recommend this to everybody. I can recommend this to someone that likes luxury eyeshadows, that would want to pay that extra price point. Maybe they're going to buy this and use this palette for the whole year. You know, I have more than $108 worth of palettes that I buy throughout the year. So, you know, buying this one palette, if that's all I was going to use, would actually save me some money. But of course, that's not reality. So I would recommend this for somebody that is going to really appreciate the luxury formula. I appreciate it after using it for the very first time, but the price point is high. It's very high. And to me personally, is it worth it? I don't think, for me personally, I would not have bought this with my own money. But I'm glad that I have it in my collection, and I can absolutely appreciate how beautiful I felt when I wore it. Coming in at number 5, I have the Unearthly Cosmetics Not Normal palette. And you're probably thinking, Rachel, that is not a new palette. It's not. I think this came out quite a while ago. But I have a lot of palettes in my collection. I have a drawer of shame of palettes that I've bought over the years that I've never reached for, that have sat in the drawer. So every once in a while when I have like a free moment to test a palette, like when I'm done testing a few palettes, I'll pick a palette out of the drawer of shame. And this came from the drawer of shame. So this is this past month is the first time I've used this palette, even though it's been sitting in my collection for a while. Love the cover art. I love Unearthly's cover art in general. And this color story to me is so beautiful, so beautiful. And I think that if they do this palette again with a new formula, this would be in my top 10 palettes of the year because I absolutely love this color story. Everything about it to me is perfection. I love palettes where I can create a neutral look, a green look, and a purple look. Those are my favorite colors to wear, and I can get all three in here. I love that I have this bone colored matte for my inner corner. I love a matte inner corner. I love like a pukey green that we got there. We've got some true greens. We've got some purples. We've got 2 shades to deepen it up. We have a mid-tone brown. I mean, everything in here is beautiful, but I will say this is the very old formula. Not that it's gone bad, but Unearthly has improved their formula, especially their shimmer formula, a lot since this. I think the mattes in this are good, but the shimmers in this are just a little bit lackluster. They're not bad. I still like them, but I can't help but, I don't know why I did that there. That didn't make any sense. Can you even see that? You're seeing the swatches. But all I can say is I definitely think that their shimmer formula has improved, and I can't help but compare this to their new formulas. I don't know why, but I will say color story wise, 10 out of 10. Just the shimmer formula to me is not my favorite. Coming in at number 4, I have the Sigma Cool Neutrals palette. Love the packaging on this. I think it's so like beautiful and luxurious. And this palette was modeled after the Brazilian agate, which is a stone. Look at how beautiful the little plastic pieces in here. It comes with one of their brushes that has a beautiful handle that's marbleized. And then on the inside, we have this beautiful neutral palette. And I do have a video on this doing 2 looks, which I can link down below. I think that this is not all completely cool tones. There are a couple of warm tones, and there are a couple of true neutrals. And then this half of the palette is very much cool toned, which honestly, I like that there are a few other tones sprinkled in here. I'm not like a cool tone, like all grays, blacks, whites. That's not my favorite color story. So I appreciate that there are different undertones in here. There's different takes on neutrals in here. I think Sigma's formula is really, really good. The mattes are pigmented. They are a little bit messy, so you gotta be careful. I mean, I do my eyes first anyway, so it doesn't bother me. And the shimmers in this are really pretty standard shimmers. Sigma shimmers are a little on the, I don't wanna say dry, but they can be a little bit on the drier side. They're not like super emollient, almost like a squishy. They're not squishy at all. So I think it would be perfect for someone that is maybe suffering from creasing. If you suffer from creasing, this would be a really good formula for you. It's not really that wet feeling. Overall, beautiful on the eyes. I love a standard shimmer. I say it all the time. I'm not someone who needs 25 multi-chromes in an eyeshadow palette. I am totally happy with standard shimmers in my palettes. I love neutrals, and this one I also did get when I went to Creators and Friends. Sigma did sponsor one of the dinners that we went to. It was so much fun. It is an experience I will never forget, but apart from that, I really love this palette. Coming in at number 3, I have the Nomad Cosmetics Ireland Wild Atlantic Way palette. I love Nomad. I mean, every time they do a collection, I feel like it's so well thought out. They are a destination-based indie brand, and they base their different collections around different destinations around the world. I just have so much respect for them. I really do think that they put out great products. They don't just throw products out to put them out type of thing, and this is no exception. I love the cover. We have like a velvety touch with small like embossed clovers on there. And then on the inside, we have this beautiful color story that is heavily green, but also we've got a bunch of pops of neutrals in here. So again, I love greens. I love neutrals. This to me is right up my alley. The formulas in this are so good, like so good. And I always talk about different shimmer formulas throughout different Nomad palettes. They tend to switch it up here and there. These shimmers are very good, like very opaque, one swipe, full pigment, shiny, not multi-chromes, not duochromes, just good old-fashioned standard shiny shimmers. I love it. They are a little bit creamier to the touch than the Sigma ones, but I don't feel that they're too emollient where they're gonna slip and slide or crease on your eyes. But again, I don't have problems with creasing, so I can only speak from my experience. The mattes are extremely pigmented. Now, do some of these greens, are they a little redundant on the eyes? I think so. I think maybe a couple of the greens could have been switched out for something else, but I will tell you, I still really enjoy this palette a lot. I created even a blue look with this palette that I really enjoyed. So overall, I really love this formula in here. It's the good, like very, very good Nomad formula in my opinion. Like I talk about the Monteverde Cloud Forest palette, that being like the top level of formula in my opinion. I think this is at the same level. Like just so good. The shimmers are not hard pressed in the pan, which they've had troubles with in the past with some of their shimmers. They pick up super easily. And I love this palette. And this has a special place in my heart because of the destination. My husband is Irish and his mother was born in Ireland and now lives in America. But it has a special place in my heart with that as well. So now we're in the top two. Both of these palettes are just gorgeous, just gorgeous. So coming in at number 2, I have the Beauty Bay Reckless Romance palette. This is my very first Beauty Bay palette. I'd heard such great things about the brand, and it's a very affordable palette, which also adds to its appeal to me. It performed great. Like I had been skeptical. I'd heard good things about the Beauty Bay formula, but I've also heard not so good things from a few people. And I did ask, I think when I did a new makeup releases, I asked people's opinions on the formula and I got a mixed bag. Some people said they loved it. Some people said they didn't like it. But I will tell you, I've had a great experience with this palette. I have no issues at all. The mattes, I would say, are a little bit more on the buildable side, not overly pigmented, but you can get them to look like they do in the pan. And the shimmers are my favorite type of shimmer where they're smooth yet sparkly. So they are just like a traditional shimmer, but they have that little bit of twinkliness to them, but they feel very creamy to the touch. They're not duochromes, they're not multi-chromes, they're just a good old-fashioned standard shimmer, but very smooth on the eyes, not chunky, not textured, just stunning. And this is pretty cool toned, but it does have a little bit of berry tones in there, some purpley tones in there, even a like neutral look. I did create a neutral look with this, really beautiful. I've been reaching for this a lot. This is one of the palettes that like I've had to stop myself from reaching for this to test other things. And that's when I know it's gonna be in the top, when I really feel excited to try this out. I love that there's a matte black. I love that there is a matte inner corner for me and everything in between. Different depths of mattes, different undertones. It's a great palette. Like it's a great, great palette. I've really been enjoying it. And coming in at number 1, can I get a drum roll, please? It is the palette I'm wearing on my eyes right now. Can you guess? Pause it right now, go to the comment section, and guess what it is.
A few moments later.
Okay, did you guess? All right, so let me reveal. It is the Lunar Beauty Moonshroom palette. Listen, there's so many good things I can say about this, so let me do it quickly. The first thing is I love the theming and I love the packaging. This is my favorite theming and packaging that Manny has done. I freaking love it. It is so cute with the mushrooms in the forest. We have a fairy. It's just like an enchanted forest vibe that I am here for. I'm here for it. The packaging is beautiful, very good quality. And then on the inside, look at this color story. It is close to my perfect color story. This is everything that I could need. Neutrals, purples, greens. That's it. That's all I need. I love the Lunar Beauty formula. The Full Fantasy palette that he did in collaboration with Laura Lee Los Angeles was my #1 palette of last year because I love this formula. The mattes are perfect pigmentation. Right in the middle, not overly pigmented, not too sheer. They don't cause a ton of fallout. They're not hard to work with. They're easy to blend. They're easy to layer. And I love the different tones of mattes. I love that I have an inner corner highlight for a matte shade. I have a deepening up shade. And I've got some mid-tone to light mattes as well as some deeper mattes. Perfect, perfect. And all of the shimmers are so beautiful. We have some lighter shimmers. We have some deeper shimmers. They are just stunning. I love the shimmer formula as well, smooth and sparkly, and I love that there is one duochrome. The rest are just standard shimmers. That is all I need, is maybe one special shimmer, and I'm happy. So this to me, all around, an amazing palette. I really don't have anything bad to say about it. This is absolutely going to be in my top, probably my top 5 palettes of 2024. I'm already calling it because I just love this palette so much. All right, and that is it for this palette ranking. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave me a comment down below letting me know your thoughts on any of these palettes. Have you picked them up? Did you skip on them? Do you want to try them? Let me know your thoughts because I love hearing from you. And if you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up. That helps me out a lot when you do that. And if you're not already subscribed to my channel, I would love it if you would consider subscribing before you leave. I do upload videos weekly and I'd love to see you back on my channel again. I want to thank you so much for watching and I will see you next time.